Hey everyone. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Sujin Kunjakrishnan, and today we're diving into something really exciting. Have you ever felt overwhelmed with advice or reminders? Well, I've compiled 100 powerful phrases that can help you navigate daily life and relationships with more clarity and positivity. In this video, we'll go through phrases that encourage gratitude, motivation, and kindness, and trust me, these reminders are not just for you to hear but to truly reflect upon in your own life. So, grab a pen and paper if you'd like to jot down your favorites, and let's get started. Rocket. I told you to call me when you get home. I told you to bring your umbrella, it looks like it's going to rain. I told you to turn off the lights before leaving. I told you to study for the exam this weekend. I told you to wear a helmet while riding your bike. I told you to take your medicine every morning. I told you to save your work before closing the computer. I told you to check your email for the details. I told you to finish your homework before dinner. I told you to be careful when crossing the street. I told you to organize your room before guests arrive. I told you to stop procrastinating and start your project. I told you to practice your speech before the presentation. I told you to send me the files by the end of the day. I told you to review your notes before the test. I told you to ask for help if you're struggling. I told you to look both ways before crossing the road. I told you to finish your drink before leaving the table. I told you to keep your phone on silent during the meeting. I told you to take a break when you feel tired. I told you to be nice to your sister. I told you to read the instructions before starting the project. I told you to arrive early to get good seats. I told you to clean your shoes before going inside. I told you to share your toys with your friends. I told you to save your money for something special. I told you to let me know if you need anything. I told you to stay hydrated during your workout. I told you to remember your keys before leaving. I told you to check the expiration date on that milk. I told you to bring a snack for the trip. I told you to finish that book before the book club meeting. I told you to practice your guitar for at least an hour. I told you to watch out for cars while walking. I told you to take deep breaths when you feel anxious. I told you to put on sunscreen before going outside. I told you to be patient while waiting in line. I told you to not forget your homework at home. I told you to call your grandparents this weekend. I told you to dress appropriately for the interview. I told you to write down your goals for the year. I told you to take notes during the lecture. I told you to be respectful to your teachers. I told you to watch your language in public. I told you to keep the door locked when you leave. I told you to speak clearly during your presentation. I told you to turn in your assignment on time. I told you to update your resume before applying for jobs. I told you to take care of your health. I told you to send me your thoughts on the proposal. I told you to enjoy the process and not just the results. I told you to be kind to strangers. I told you to prepare a backup of your important files. I told you to watch your spending this month. I told you to be optimistic about the future. I told you to take your time when making decisions. I told you to stay focused during the meeting. I told you to take care of your pet while I'm away. I told you to be careful with that knife. I told you to recycle your waste. I told you to practice mindfulness every day. I told you to review your budget this month. I told you to set reminders for your appointments. I told you to let go of grudges for your own peace. I told you to prepare for unexpected situations. I told you to explore new hobbies to keep life exciting. I told you to listen to your heart when making choices. I told you to find a mentor in your field. I told you to network with professionals in your industry. I told you to enjoy your youth while it lasts. I told you to look after your siblings while I'm gone. I told you to set achievable goals for yourself. I told you to be the change you want to see. I told you to stay curious and keep learning. I told you to reach out if you need support. I told you to take it one step at a time. I told you to enjoy the little moments in life. I told you to be prepared for the worst but hope for the best. I told you to invest in your education for future success. I told you to appreciate your friends while you can. I told you to take photos to capture the memories. I told you to be honest with yourself and others. I told you to find balance in work and life. I told you to explore different cultures when traveling. I told you to write a journal to reflect on your thoughts. I told you to plan your meals for healthier eating. I told you to stay positive, even in tough times. I told you to learn a new language to expand your horizons. I told you to believe in yourself and your abilities. I told you to prioritize your mental health. I told you to enjoy nature whenever you can. I told you to share your knowledge with others. I told you to be open-minded to new experiences. I told you to set boundaries to protect your peace. I told you to be grateful for what you have. I told you to cultivate kindness in your daily life. I told you to dream big and work hard to achieve it. I told you to value your time and spend it wisely. I told you to cherish family moments and make memories. I told you to never stop chasing your dreams. Wow, what an incredible journey through these 100 reminders. I hope you found some phrases that resonate with you and that you can incorporate into your daily routine. Remember, it's all about nurturing a positive mindset and uplifting those around you. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it with friends, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more amazing content. Let me know in the comments which phrase you liked the most, or if you have any